Hi, I'm Tyson with Adventure Rig, and Callie and I have recently installed the Perun Billet Racks onto our KTM 790 Adventure as well as the KTM 890 Adventure. Now these racks are going to fit the R Series, S Series, as well as the Rallies, but it's just the 790 and 890. This is the large one. Obviously, this is a smaller version. This is the small. They're similar, but they do have some key differences. This one comes in at about 1 kilogram, and that includes the mounting hardware, where the smaller version comes in at 400 grams. What I like about both of these racks is that they're made to sit low, and with the stock seat, they actually sit even and flush with that stock seat. This is important for Callie and I because we personally like the Mosko Moto luggage, and this is the Reckless 10. We'll take this on smaller day trips, but we usually end up splitting the Reckless 10 halfway between the seat and the rack. So it's not all the way back just on the rack. And this is nice because both of them being flush, this easily fits on here and it stays nice and tight on the bike no matter what kind of terrain we'll find ourselves in. It's the same with the small version. With that stock seat, it sits flush with it. This was nice because I personally put this tool roll on mine and strap it down, and I like to set it just a little bit further forward, but it sits on my seat as well. So being flush, it just stays nice and tight the entire time. The large version has 26 different slots to strap things on. So no matter what you're putting on this rack, you should easily be able to find a point to strap something to. The smaller version has 16 slots. I was pretty surprised by 26. I physically counted them because I thought, bullshit, there's not 26 slots on here, but there are. And there are 16 on this as well. Now with the large version, there are a lot of different accessories that you can bolt onto this. You could put a 1 or 2 gallon Rotopax mount on this and then throw Rotopax cans onto it. Another great feature about these is that the large version comes pre-drilled for the GV top case or SW Motec top case, as well as the Kriega OS rack loops. Now, the small version is only pre-drilled for the Kriega OS rack loops. As far as size goes between the two, the large version measures at about 12 3/4 long, and then the back is a little bit narrower. The back comes in at about 7 1/4. And down here near the seat, it comes in at about 12 1/4. On the small version, this one is about 10 1/4 long. And then at the back where it's a little narrower, about 5 1/4. And at the front where it's a little bit wider, it's at about 10 inches. The large version does hang out past the tail about 2 inches. Now, this probably isn't a big deal for a lot of people, but how we mount our motorcycles inside of the toy hauler, we found this to be an issue. We actually punched a small hole through the gate on the toy hauler. Easy enough to repair, but it is something that we should mention. The smaller one sits about a 1/2 inch further forward than the tail of the motorcycle. So again, it's just a little bit smaller, a little bit lower profile. You can see that neither of us have our stock grab handles on these bikes still. However, you can take spacers out and you can put the stock grab handles back on if you prefer. These do go into the stock mounting points where your stock grab handle and stock rack was located. You can easily push the motorcycle or pull the motorcycle with these racks on the bikes. The powder coating on these does seem to be extremely durable. I put about 500 off-road miles on my rack with this toolkit on it, and then Callie's put about 300 miles with the Reckless 10 sitting on hers. There's really not any sign of wear on her plate. However, on mine, I did get a lot of dirt and mud packed underneath mine, and I can see just from an angle, there's a slight color variation between where this tool roll was not sitting and where it was sitting. It definitely is not peeling the paint off by any means, but it's just kind of dulled it a little bit. Now we're gonna be putting the Reckless 80s on these and putting a few thousand miles on them in Mexico and Central America. So if you're curious as how the powder coating has held up after that trip, just leave a comment below and we'll answer it and let you know how everything's held up. Another great feature that we like about both of these racks is that all of the edges are smooth. So not only is this outside edge rounded and smooth, but also all of the cutouts for all the straps or bolts, those are all also smooth edges. So if you're putting a strap through here, it's not gonna rub on the strap and potentially break a strap. Or if you're putting your luggage on here and it's rolled over the edge, It's not gonna be too harsh on any of your luggage. The nice thing about this large rack is that you can see the edge is nicely rolled. So whatever kind of soft luggage you may be putting on here, it's gonna treat that very nicely. If I had to choose just one version, the large or the small, I'd personally go with the small. I like the way that it looks, feels a little bit lighter and tighter to me, and everything that I need to be putting on this motorcycle, this smaller rack will easily handle. These are lightweight because they're CNC milled out of an aluminum magnesium alloy, built for both strength yet lightness. Again, these are made by Perun. They're the small billet rack and the large billet rack. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and we'll get back to you. Also, if you're wondering where we are or what we're up to, check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Adventure Rig. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tyson with Adventure Rig.